I'm Dr. Parul Katyar. I'm a senior fertility specialist at Nova IVF Fertility, and I'm also the guest speaker at Fertility Dose today. And today I will be talking about preservation or fertility preservation in today's scenario. So, what we all know is that freezing has always been a tool for freezing anything and preserving things for much longer time, in which we use low temperatures to keep whatever we want to keep at a very to preserve in its actual state. And this is how fertility preservation or freezing has come in as a tool to preserve fertility in a lot of couples as well as men and women. So all this has become much more relevant in today's scenario because of COVID, which has taken the stream out of a lot of treatments and a lot of things that we thought were urgent and emergent. However, when it comes as a question of life and death, we realize that a lot of things have taken a pushback, and a lot of our patients who were undergoing treatment before the lockdown started suddenly had to halt their treatment, and they were not sure as to where we will be once the lockdown opens, or how long it will take for the lockdown to get over. And those people or those couples who were undergoing treatment when the lockdown just started, we advised them to either stop the treatment or actually not going for a pregnancy or a transfer. So what we did was that we continued with their treatment of stimulation, and we harvested the eggs. And then after harvesting the eggs from the lady, we picked up the egg and made the embryos, that's the small babies, and then we preserved them. And this enabled them from us as well as them from not cancelling the cycle of IVF that they were undergoing, yet we could defer pregnancy in our couples and also could help them conceive later through the same effort that they had undertaken. So this all was only possible because of freezing. So what we understand by freezing is what is the term means, in which we freeze the embryos, the egg or the sperm, and it can be kept for an indefinite time without us getting worried that the quality of those gametes, which we call them, the egg, the sperms and the embryos, are technically called as gametes. So without being worried that the quality of these gametes will deteriorate, so in a way they are frozen in time. And that's fantastic. If you see that we do something today, and those that same effort can give you a pregnancy much later in time, maybe a year down the line, maybe 1 month down the line, or maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line. And we have a lot of couples who have had actually seen the benefit of freezing, who have done one treatment cycle, and following that they could preserve those embryos, and they could even actually plan for a second pregnancy after their younger one was a little older, or the firstborn was a little older. So now, what do you understand? And technically, I will talk about what actually freezing entails. So, embryo freezing, sperm freezing, or egg freezing, whatever you call it, the technology that you generally utilize is called as vitrification. Vitrification is a technique in which we freeze the gametes from 37 degrees centigrade to almost 190 degrees centigrade in less than 1 second. So of course this is a technique. It's just not like putting it in a freezer. The process involves some complex media through which the gametes are prepared. The egg, the sperms, and the embryos are prepared to undergo a rapid cooling and without any effect on their quality. And then once they are brought to minus 196 degrees centigrade, they are kept in the environment of liquid nitrogen, only which is able to provide them with that temperature. So mind you, it is very important to understand that freezing generally does not mean that we are putting the embryos or the eggs or the sperms into a freezer and in ice. No, it is actually a lot more than that. It is actually putting them into a liquid nitrogen which has a temperature of minus 196 degrees centigrade. And this is where freezing of these embryos will be successful. There is no point not maintaining this temperature, because if we do not maintain this temperature, these gametes will lose their quality, their potential, and once we try and recover them back to life, they will not be recovered, because the processes that are needed to sustain will ultimately die out. So in a way, what we do by freezing is to halt the metabolism. And it's like a sci-fi mission, movies that we see, that you freeze something and or a person, and the person evolves as the same young fellow even after hundreds of years. So of course I'm not talking of hundreds of years, but what we're talking of is a time period or a time lag between what you do today versus and what the outcome will be in a couple of months or in a couple of years time. And by this technology, a lot of couples who have been undergoing treatment have benefited. Now, there are three aspects of freezing or cryopreservation. Cryo means cold or ice. So that we need to discuss and understand. The first and the foremost, which has been very relevant in the COVID scenario, has been embryo freezing. So embryo freezing means that we prepare the embryo, which means that the woman undergoes stimulation so that we are able to develop multiple eggs, and then we take out those eggs, and uh, and once we take out those eggs, and then we fertilize with the partner's sperm. So the resulting baby is called as an embryo, which can be kept alive in the lab for almost 3 to 5 days. Beyond that, it has to go back into the mother's womb to survive. But if that is not possible, which can either be because of some emergency like COVID, wherein we were deferring pregnancy in our women, so then we have to put it into a preservation, and we have to preserve it by freezing. The other scenario is when, though we have done the IVF cycle for the lady or for the couple, yet the womb conditions are not to the best for the baby to survive, which means that it is likely that even if we do an embryo transfer in these women, the pregnancy result is likely to be negative because of certain factor. These factors can be that in that cycle probably the endometrium has not been very good, maybe the lining is very thin, and that is why the baby, even if it is of good quality, will not be able to stick inside the mother's womb, and then which means the entire effort is going to be wasted. So therefore, in order to split the cycle or in order to segregate, so that we are able to give a better womb or a better condition for the baby or the embryo to implant, what we do is that we preserve these embryos or we cryopreserve these embryos, and then in the meanwhile we prepare the womb, the endometrial lining of the lady. And when we get the best lining, then at that time those embryos are thawed. Thawed means they are brought back to metabolic activity, which means they are warmed back to 37 degrees centigrade, and then they are placed back into the mother's womb. So this will definitely improve the chance of the lady getting pregnant, because we have been able to optimize the chances that the embryo will be able to implant inside. There are also some hormonal fluctuations when we do not want to transfer, because again the result of the transfer is not likely to be as good as it want to be. This can be because of elevations of progesterone hormone, and sometimes it can also be because of certain side effects of ovarian stimulation, which is needed to make these embryos, and for which we give certain injections, and sometimes as a result of that the ovaries also become quite bulky and quite enlarged, and we call this condition as hyperstimulation syndrome. So all these conditions are not very good for pregnancy, and they're also might not be very good for the lady, because she might have some complications which might be a threat to her well-being. So in all these cases, what we try to do is to split the cycle. So we do the first stage up to the level of making the embryo, but later on, rather than transferring the embryo, we transfer it in a later month, maybe the next month or sometime later when the lady is ready. One other important possible role of embryo preservation is that what we do in an IVF cycle is that we stimulate the ovaries, as I just told you. So we are not developing just one egg, we are developing multiple eggs, and there is a potential that we might be able to develop more than the required number of embryos. So in a standard IVF cycle, what we do is that we transfer either one embryo back inside, and sometimes we also transfer up to two embryos. We never transfer more than that, because if that number of embryos go in and implant inside the lady's womb, what will happen is that she will end up with having multiple pregnancies. But multiple pregnancies is no fun. The womb is not ready, or is not developed to have made more than two pregnancies at a time, and even two is a high risk pregnancy. So therefore it is never advised that we put in more embryos inside. So what happens if we have made more than that? Because suppose we get 10 eggs from the lady, and we are able to develop 4 or 5 good quality embryos, and we only put in 2. This means the remaining embryos will just have to be wasted. And an IVF cycle is around 50% success rate in one woman. So which means though the woman had a higher potential of getting pregnant to the same set of embryos, however, because we did not do anything for those embryos would be lost, and she would have to repeat the cycle in case she wants to get pregnant and the first IVF has not worked. Or even if she gets pregnant and delivers and she wants a second child some years later, she will have to try another cycle, at which time she will be older. So therefore the quality of embryos that we will be able to develop from the same woman will be much lesser than what we got when she was younger. So in these cases, what we do is that we make those embryos, we transfer one or two embryos back inside the womb, but we will, rather than discarding the extra embryos that we have and currently of which we don't have any use, we preserve them. And these embryos help us in getting a much higher cumulative, which means pregnancy rate over multiple cycles, but with much less effort. So this is also a fantastic way of improving our success rates in IVF, because when we transfer in a frozen embryo transfer and we have the embryos prepared, the lady doesn't need to take injections. There is no stimulation required. It's very simply putting the embryo back in the womb, which has been prepared either naturally or through some oral tablets. So this is why embryo preservation is very important. Now, if we talk of our current scenario as to what happened when we had COVID outbreak in our country. So there was a lot of discussion that because IVF remains important, but it was not a life and death situation for most of our patients. Therefore, it was advised that women should not get pregnant around this time, because we do not know how good or bad the situation is likely to be. So now, as the situation has settled down, or as we know that this is a pandemic which is going to continue for some more time. Now, what we did around that time is that we finished the IVF stimulation, because that's the painful part of doing an IVF, doing the injections daily, taking out the eggs, but we did not transfer them. And now, the once this situation settles down, we will have the embryos for our patients, for our couples, and they can go in and transfer the embryos back in. And this technology has evolved to such a great extent that actually the frozen embryo transfer results are sometimes even better than the fresh embryo transfer results. So there is no fear amongst the fertility specialists as well as the patients after counseling that their efforts have gone in vain. Their efforts have actually not gone in vain, and they are likely to benefit from all the treatment that they took before the lockdown started. So the other important aspect of fertility preservation is freezing of eggs. What we need to remember is that in women there is a biological clock which is ticking. So this biological clock is no way reversible, which means women today, young women who have a very good chance of getting pregnant today, if they do not get pregnant till their 40s, there is very high chance that they would never be able to get pregnant. This is important to understand, because women have, or most of the population of people have, a misconception that a woman who has been able to get pregnant once can get pregnant whenever and whatever she wants. So we need to understand that around 1 in 5 couples who try for a second baby are facing a difficulty in getting pregnant. So, and also in other situation also, we understand that this may not be true. If we've deferred a pregnancy, so we have to take certain measures wherein we can preserve our fertility for some more time. And here comes the role of egg freezing. So what do you understand by egg freezing? So in egg freezing, what we do is that we take out, again, stimulate the lady, a young, healthy, fertile woman needs to undergo this treatment. There is no point stimulating a older woman with poor ovarian reserve or a poor reproductive potential. So this is only recommended in women who have got good reproductive potential but who are not ready to get pregnant for various personal, professional, psychological, emotional reasons. The reasons can be anything, but probably they are not ready. We know that they are not ready to get pregnant, and so therefore we need to do something so that once they are ready to get pregnant, we have are able to give them an opportunity to get pregnant using their own gametes. The supply of gametes in women especially is exhaustible or is very limited, and we need to have this supply preserved so that we are able to use the gametes later on. And this is what egg preservation is. That what we do is that we will stimulate the women with injections so that the ovaries which have eggs as of now are able to develop those eggs. And once these eggs are ready, these eggs are harvested using some an ultrasound guided procedure. And then again, the embryologist in the lab will screen these eggs and look for good quality eggs. And the good quality eggs that we have are then again vitrified or freeze frozen, and then they are kept in liquid nitrogen till the time the woman is ready to get pregnant. This plays a very important role in social preservation, of which I was talking, but is also very, very relevant in women who are undergoing some treatment which is likely to damage their ovaries. This is very often a scenario in young women who are unfortunately diagnosed with some kind of cancer. So, cancer has become a disease or a condition in which survival has definitely improved. But the treatments that a woman has to undertake or any person has to undertake can have long lasting and irreversible impact on one's body, including the ovaries as well as the testicles. So, what we have to do in this is that before they embark on a journey of treatment for their cancer, we have to take out those eggs from the lady and preserve them. So, even if that cancer therapy is leads to an impact on her ovaries and damages the ovaries altogether, then also that woman, when she's ready, completely healed, has a partner or is ready to get pregnant, she can come back and use those embryo eggs and make embryos using her husband's sperm, and those embryos can be transferred back into her womb, and she has a possibility of getting pregnant with her own gametes. So this is a fantastic technique. However, it is very important that these decisions for preservation amongst women are taken very timely. As I said, and I will say again, that women don't have a timeless opportunity to get pregnant. This is a time bound procedure. This is what they can do during their reproductive life. And therefore, it is very important that become aware that even if we are very busy and not ready to get pregnant as of now, or there is no opportunity to get pregnant, we need to ensure that once we are ready, we can get pregnant, and there is no compromise involved. And this is possible through egg freezing or fertility preservation, which can be either for social reasons or even for reasons like cancers and malignancies. It is very important to understand in these women also that it is not like a foolproof technology. So it is said that the chance of getting pregnant through one egg or that has been frozen is around 4 to 12%. It's not a very high percentage, and therefore we do not need to freeze just one but multiple eggs for a woman so that she has the best chance of getting pregnant. And that is why stimulation cycles are required, so that we are able to harvest not one egg which is growing inside her ovary, but we are able to harvest multiple eggs from her ovaries. And at times we may require more than one stimulation cycle so that we are able to have a decent stock of her eggs frozen to be used later. The other important technology or freezing needs to be discussed is sperm preservation. So, fortunately, men do not have a very limited time span for at the time of which they produce sperms. and therefore sperm preservation is not really very highly discussed or is not really considered that essential. However, in men who are undergoing cancer therapies or some therapy which will might, I would say, have an impact on their testicles, which are the glands which produce sperms, then these men should also consider preserving their sperms, because sperm preservation is something which is very simple. The man simply needs to give a semen sample, and this semen sample is washed and then again frozen in liquid nitrogen. And once frozen, it can be frozen for years altogether. So once the man is able or is cured of the problem that they had, it might be some bone marrow transplant, it might be some cancer therapy, it can be any other treatment. So once they are through with that treatment and once they are ready to get to have a baby, they can come back and use those preserved sperms and use it for an IVF or even sometimes an IUI cycle and have a pregnancy. So therefore, these are various tools and useful technologies in assisted reproductive tool technologies which you can use so that you can benefit from fertility preservation if you undertake it in a timely manner. So this was all about fertility preservation or freezing that I wanted you to know. There will be more questions. If you have, you can directly message me. You can talk to me on Fertility Dose or on my page, Dr. Parul Katyar, and you can also come and visit us if you want to. If you have any further questions or if you are considering this treatment. So what I will do is that I've got some queries. I will take those queries one by one. So the thing is, how is egg quality and quantity affected when they are freezed? See, the quality and quantity, if we talk of, so preservation has really become very useful now, and it is a good tool. So the chance of, if frozen properly, if the chance of recovering the eggs once they are thawed back is almost more than 90%. So therefore, it is very, very good technology to freeze, because you are not wasting much of eggs even if you recover them or thaw them much years later. And similarly, the quality is also not really affected by freezing. The egg is as good as it was once it was frozen, and there will be no impact of aging on the egg once it is frozen. Yeah. So we have another question. Do you recommend freezing of eggs from a PCOD patient? See, we need to be clear about the reason for freezing. So if you are not ready to get pregnant as of now and you want to preserve your fertility, then egg freezing is a tool or a technology which is available for everybody, irrespective of you being a PCOS or not being a PCOS. So if you want to preserve your eggs, even if you have a diagnosis of PCOS, there is no problem in preserving your eggs. So another question, what is better, freezing of eggs oblique freezing of embryos? So as of now, if one has a partner, if you're married or you have a partner from and you are ready to, not yet ready to get pregnant, so embryo freezing is one I would suggest is better rather than doing an egg freezing, because embryo freezing is sometimes which is more common. There are multiple thousands and millions of babies that have been born through embryo freezing now. So it is a technology or a tool which is more standardized now. Though egg freezing is as good, however, if we see the amount of babies born through embryo freezing versus egg freezing, so we will see that embryo freezing has given us far more babies as of now, because egg freezing is newer and still not so common amongst our women. Another question is that, can you talk about the chemicals used in freezing embryos and what effect they might have, if any, on the embryo or the child in later stage? I know many people are concerned about this when deciding to go with it. See, embryo, all these, any IVF tool technology, so these media or chemicals, if you say, they have been studied over a period of time and they have been found safe for the embryos with potentially no effect on the embryos, and that is why embryo freezing is now recommended and is allowed all over the world. So therefore, probably there is hardly any impact that is likely to happen or on the embryos because of embryo freezing. If you look at the larger picture, we do not and so far now we have multiple babies who have grown up to 5, 10 years, 15 years, or even older, so they appear healthy. So there are no additional effects of embryo freezing or adverse effects of embryo freezing that you can have because the baby was born because of an embryo freezing procedure. Another question is about one's period. Hi, my age is 39. My period is only one day but regular. See, the question becomes very relevant if you are talking about fertility. So, the most important thing that you've written over here is that you are 39. So, if you're planning for a pregnancy, it is very important that you consult a fertility specialist, because 39 is the age in which you are in an advanced stage, and the chance of you getting pregnant will become lesser and lesser. And the other thing is that it is not always the duration of periods. Duration of periods definitely tell us about what is your chance, what is the likelihood of the lining of the endometrial thickness. But as long as we do not see the uterus and scan and do an ultrasound to check how the endometrium lining is, it will be very difficult to comment as to why your period is just for one day. But if you are still not do not haven't completed your family, or you're planning for a pregnancy, then it is very important that you get yourself assessed and see about and check about your chances of getting pregnant because of your age. Yeah, so far this is what we have. Thank you for joining me for this session. If you have any more queries, please send us your queries either on Fertility Dose or on my page. And if you have any other questions, please write to me. I will be happy to write back and reply to your queries. Thank you.